What's going on, boys and girls? SuperMarioT is here bringing you a guide on how to play Mario, competitively, how to learn the matchup for Mario, all that stuff for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. To give myself a little credence before I start this guide, I mained Mario since day one. Melee was the first Smash game I got, mained Mario in there, got Brawl, mained Mario in Brawl. It's my first gateway to competitive Smash, so a little bit consistency, not exactly. Smash 4 I was very consistent with Mario's, and I played him a lot there, 64 as well, and I still main him in Ultimate here. However, Mario did get nerfed in a couple areas, but he did get some buffs in a few others, so in my opinion he's still generally a good character. He can still adapt, he's very versatile to a lot of different situations. It's just a lot of his traits that made him super good in Smash 4 kinda got revoked. If you want to learn the matchup for Mario, if you want to pick up Mario for competitive play, this guide's for you. Maybe you can learn a couple things here and there, some tidbits you haven't learned about Mario. Okay, to start off with Mario's guide. Mario is an all-around character with solid movement capabilities and average attributes. His fall speed is like the 12th to 16th best in the game, tied with Inkling, Sonic, Donkey Kong, and Little Mac, if I'm not mistaken. He's also 27th to 29th heaviest, so he's above average when it comes to being a middleweight, and he's smack dab in the middle when it comes to run speed. He's all around fast, he could get places, so that's generally what counts in this game, is getting to places to do combos and reaching your opponent and all that stuff. So Mario, he's more or less an average character with like average capabilities like I said earlier. I say we start off with Mario's jab, and it's as standard as any other jab would be in this game. Does 9.4% damage. If your opponent's shielding, you could poke and then run away and like pivot grab, or just do a regular grab, maybe a tilt. Like, it's a decent mix-up option. It's your typical jab. It is capable of jab blocking though. In this game you can jab block up to 2 times, and you can follow up with a smash attack or a tilt if you want to get a string going from there. So it has its uses. It's decent. Dash attack, I'd also say it's decent. It's as standard as any other dash attack would be in this game. It also does 9.6 damage, as we saw there. It can extend Mario to where his hurt box is slightly lowered, but unlike in previous games, his hurt box is bigger, so you can punish it if you could see it coming. Whip this out if your opponent is not going to shield, and you know you could get an easy less than 10% damage in on him. But where Mario truly shines, however, are his aerials. Mario is a very combo-heavy character, and he's going to rely heavily on his aerials to rack up damage, do aerial strings and combos, and you could kind of just go freestyle from there. First off, his neutral air, super good for escaping combos, comes out super fast, and it does a decent amount of knockback if your opponent's at a high enough percent. It's a surprisingly deceptive gimping tool if your opponent's like low on the stage. If you know your opponent's doing a double jump, you can just whip this out there. It's safer than using a forward air, so you could use that, but you're mainly going to be using neutral air to escape combos, as it's super fast and it's good at challenging multiple other moves. It's not good if you want to like not get damaged by your opponent's other aerial. Like, say I'm going to collide my neutral air with like, say, Sonic's back air or forward air. Like, it's still going to hit, but it's still going to knock Sonic back. Nair's also good for halting moves and aerial opponents. Like, it could stop Sonic's spin dash or collide with most aerials and throw characters off for a bit. And like I said, deceptive for gimping. It's a really good neutral air. It's a really good sex kick. What's also really good, thankfully that was retained from Smash 4, is Mario's up air. It's still a really good juggle tool. You're mainly going to be using this for combos in the air. You can still ladder combo off of it, much like you could in previous games. You don't just gotta use up air too. You can do like multiple up airs into back airs, up air into neutral air, up air into forward air, up air into multiple up airs, up air into neutral air, up air into down air. Off the top platform, it could be a kill move. Like, you could generally go very crazy with up airs if you know your opponent's going to be stuck in the air. If your opponent has a habit of jumping, short hopping, you can use this out to punish. And speaking of down air, this move is much better than it was in Smash 4. It connects significantly more reliably, as I struggle to connect it there. It connects so much more reliably in that the final hit connects so much better. In Smash 4, you could either air dodge or use an aerial to counter Mario's down air, to where the last hit where Mario extends his limbs wouldn't fully, like, finish. So this move is much more consistent as a kill move. Like, down air is going to be your main kill move if you manage to get it up in the air, your opponent. And it's so much better than it was in Smash 4, in my opinion. Mario's back air, it's going to be your main tool for spacing if you want to push opponents away from you. Keep your distance. It's really good at short hops. If you want to string multiple back airs together, you could do that. Kind of push your opponent back. It's good for keeping your distance from your opponent. Make them, like, back up 2 notches away from you. It's good for spacing. It's also good for gipping as well. If you know you could get your opponent back away from the ledge. Like, it's a very solid back air. It's not, like, amazing by any means. It's also capable of jab blocking. Of course, there it wasn't ideal because I was super high up in the air. Before I forget this too, Luigi, not Luigi's, and that footstool was completely accidental, but Mario's back air is also good for stage spikes too. If your opponent's going to recover from low, if they miss a tech, you could just hit them from underneath the stage and it's free kill. Mario's forward air, it's fair, as we would all know. As you could see right there. Go for it if you know you're going to land the spike off the ledge. Maybe if your opponent's recovering from this side, you could do a turnaround forward air. But be careful though, because Mario's recovery is fragile, but we'll get to that later. Otherwise, it's as standard as any forward air. It's a good spike. It's good for on-stage spikes as well, since on-stage spikes are untechable in this game. You want to get an aerial string going, since your opponent can't tech those. Like, Mario's forward air also has a bit of a disjoint, like the upper edge of that swing is a sour spot, but like upon like the start of the swing downward, and of course Mario swinging his fist downward is the actual spike. So you can get some disjointed spikes with this thing. It's a good forward air overall. It's just you have to know when to exactly whip it out, because it can be risky if you don't know what you're doing. If you want to get combos started, however, take a look at Mario's tilt. His forward tilt, it's a decent tilt. Not amazing by any means, of course. But if you know your opponent's gonna, like, just stand there, it has a little bit more range than his jab. So, like, maybe you could poke it out if you know your opponent's, like, not gonna shield. I wouldn't use this often. Maybe as, like, a decent shield poke, or just to get some extra damage. But it's kind of risky. Not too risky. It's not too optimal. What is optimal, though, is his down tilt, which is going to be your main combo starter. Your opponent gets knocked back more in this game than in Smash 4, but it's still a decently reliable tool if you want to get combos going to whip out if your opponent's shielding. The main thing Mario got gutted in, however, is his up tilt. It's much slower than it was in Smash 4. Although, it's not as bad as, like, people made it out to be. Like, you could still start combos with it, it's just a little bit slower, and if your opponent doesn't expect you to whip out an up tilt, like, you could still get some aerial combos started with this thing. It's just not as good as it used to be in Smash 4, but it's still a decent starter for combos. You're just mainly going to be using down tilt to start combos, because that comes out much faster, and it ends quicker. Also, before I forget tilts, the tilts are good for whipping out, like running on shield, rather than just running and whiffing a grab, running and whiffing a dash attack, because you can recover from those faster. And of course, down tilt being your main combo starter, up tilt being a decent combo starter. And with those, you could just get some kind of creative strings going with Mario. Oh, that was juicy. Incorporate proper fast falls into your strategy with back airs especially. You can start doing some crazy stuff with Mario. And really apply the pressure on your opponent. Another way to start your combos and of course get kills is your throw. Mario's pummel, it's faster than it was in Smash 4, so on average you're going to want to go for like 3 to 4, maybe 5 headbutts if your opponent's at a high enough percent. so you could get some more damage in than you would in Smash 4. As far as throws go, down throw got nerfed. Of course, there I managed to start the combo, but that's because Luigi was at a high percent, and of course, DI plays a factor in it all. But down throw, see right there, down throw isn't as reliable of a combo starter as it used to be in Smash 4. Because your opponent is knocked back further away from you. Maybe at a, like, low to mid percent, you could kind of get it up there, like 30 to 40%. But otherwise, you're not going to be using down throw for much combos. The only confirm off down throw is up B. And if your opponent's at a, like a mid percent range at the ledge, there's a chance you could get a down throw into a forward air, like you could in Smash 4. Granted, if your opponent DIs inward, then go for it. Otherwise, be careful. However, the fact that down throw got nerfed a lot doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things, because everyone has a frame 3 jump squat, and Mario's jump is slightly faster than it was in Smash 4. So because of that, most of your throw combos from down throw are going to be migrated to up throw. Up throw is a much more consistent combo starter, which is great because Mario relies heavily on those. You could start by getting your opponents up in the air if you could get a free grab. Up throw into up airs, up throw into back air. Like, instead of down throw, now up throw is going to be your bread and butter for combos. Up throw, down air, to forward air. Luigi's kind of light, so it wouldn't work there. It works on most characters, from what I've tried. Up throw to down air. Mario's forward throw, on the other hand, it's okay. You're mainly going to be using that for positioning. You're not really going to be using this for killing. Just to get your opponent off the stage is what you're mainly going to be doing. Like this, it's good for starting gimps, but it's not going to be your primary kill throw. Mario's main primary kill throw is going to be his back throw, like around 120% or so at the ledge. It's good for killing. That's going to be much more consistent when it comes to gimping rather than forward throw. So back throw, you're going to be going for kills at the ledge, rolling behind the opponent if they do a normal get up, and then back throwing. It's pretty consistent if your opponent's at a high enough percent. Now, where Mario hits hard, obviously, are his smash attacks. Forward smash, very, very powerful. Sour spots at the arm and the palm of the forward smash, but the sweet spot... Okay, I hit it with the sour spot there. But the sweet spot is at the explosion of the fire that emits from Mario's palm. Like, that does nearly 20% damage. Like, that does, like, roughly 20%, 19% damage or so. And if you know your opponent is going to be, like, rolling, you could, like, turn around, pivot, forward smash, doing proper landing or whatever. Like, it's very good if you want to get a kill early. Especially if you landed with the sweet spot. Down smash is also good. It comes out very fast from the front, hits hard if you hit it from the back. If you want a smash attack that'll come out fast and do a good amount of damage, down smash is the way to go. It's really good for punishing rolls as well. As you can see right there, it wasn't even Luigi wasn't even at 100% and it was managed to kill him. Up smash though is Mario's best smash attack. Has invincibility on the arc of the head. Comes out pretty fast. Pivot up smash. It's relatively safe on shield, so you can push your opponent back. It's not as... It doesn't kill as early as it used to in Smash 4, probably because of the blast zones increasing in size, but it's still a reliable kill move. Mainly use this if you know you're going to be safe while doing it, and I recommend practicing pivot up smashing, reverse up smashing, as it increases its range. And it's good for punishing opponents who will roll towards you, or like opponents who roll to you in a certain way where you could just whip this out and get an easy kill. Its range is very good. And the last main thing to cover with Mario are his specials. His neutral B, the fireball. It's an okay neutral special. You're mainly going to be using this to space, kind of get your opponent to come towards you, as you could just kind of harass them with fireballs. Does like 6% damage. It's not insane by any means, of course. And if your opponent's doing a double jump towards the ledge, you can kind of halt some characters' momentum if they use an up B like Ness's PK Thunder, or you could hit the PK Thunder itself, or if your opponent double jumps and their recovery is kind of subpar, you could just hit them off stage and they could potentially die. But otherwise, it's an okay move if you want to rack up damage, but use this mainly for spacing, just to get your opponent to come towards you so you could punish them. Side B, the cape, still reliable when it comes to gimping. You can flip opponents with it. You're mainly going to be using that for gimping, and if your opponent is a projectile user, like Samus or Link, Palutena, Game & Watch, etc., and if they whip out some projectiles, you can just flip them. It's good for throwing your opponent off if you know they're not going to shield as well, as their controls are going to be reversed for a split second as well, and you could punish with a smash or start a grab and get an aerial combo going or a tilt. It's still a good tool, though. It's a little weird in this game, because, like, say you flip an opponent in the air, like, they descend downward much more quickly rather than, like, they just getting pushed back more than they would in Smash 4. It's a little tricky to explain, because you saw how Luigi descended a lot more than he would in previous Smash games. Like, right there. He would normally be, like, pushed back more horizontally rather than vertically. So, its gimping potential might have been hindered a little bit, but it's still very good for gimping characters. And, of course, it's super good for reflected projectiles. Mario's down B, on the other hand. Flood. This one is you're going to be using for gimping most of the time. It's much better than it was in Smash 4, but if your opponent has a good recovery, like Wario, Pac-Man, Kirby, Sonic, you're not going to be using it that often. It's super situational. It's much better than it was before. I think it's a viable kill move off the stage, or a viable gimping move, I should say. It doesn't really kill. And it's decent. You can use it for spacing, just to push your opponent away, if you don't want to use fireballs, but that's not going to come up often, as otherwise the move is somewhat punishable, because there is a decent amount of end lag to come from it. So mainly use this one if you could get your opponent off stage, throw him off with a flood, and then whip out an aerial to gimp him. However, be careful, because Mario's up B, as you see right there. They nerfed magnet ledges in this game. Like, you have to be at a certain point underneath the stage to grab the ledge. Otherwise, if you're too close, you're just going to go past it, and your opponent could punish it if they're not standing right next to the ledge where you can hit them with the up B. So, like around here, I'd say practice using Mario's up B. Otherwise, it could be kind of easy to whiff, and it's easily punishable. So be careful when recovering. Not to mention, it doesn't go that far. Mario's recovery is literally average, so I recommend being careful when gimping. That's why I don't recommend using forward air often off the stage, because if you're too far away, that right there was like maybe the limit Mario could go. Any further than that, and you're just dead. It's super easy to screw up recovering with Mario in this game, just because his up B isn't nearly as good. You could stall in the air with side B if you want to, like, gain a little bit of distance. Every little bit counts, but Mario's recovery got nerfed in this game. Just from that alone. It's good for a combo finisher, though, his up B. Like, finish after up airs, maybe a down air, if your opponent DIs toward you rather than away. But if you're careless with up B, it can be easy to get Mario. That's why I say it's super average. He's kind of fragile. if he uses a second jump and if he recovers from up high. But Mario's one of the easiest characters to pick up and is super versatile. He has a tool for almost every situation. He's a very combo-heavy character, and is somewhat of a freestyle character if you get his combos going, but like with almost any aerial you could just string together if you know what you're doing. Mario's biggest Achilles heel, though, is not just his average recovery that can be easily exploitable if done carelessly, but Mario lacks range. Put him up against any character that can outrange him or outspace him, he's gonna struggle. Like Donkey Kong or Bowser, characters that just outrange him with their long limbs and attacks, or Palutena, characters with swords, Cloud, Marth, Ike, characters that can get in and pummel Mario super fast. Granted, he could get out of combos with his neutral air, but characters like Roy, Chrom, Sonic, like those are characters that could still outrange Mario and space him properly. Because Mario is kind of lackluster when it comes to range. He has to get in if you want to use combos, so be careful if you're going up against characters with good range. Otherwise, you might just have a bad time. Mario's capabilities all around are as average as his moveset. Granted, Mario can still deal plenty of damage between his aerials and his smash attacks. Mario's main goal is to mix up his space and approach options and combo with his aerials. Fully capitalize on borderline everything Mario can do. Mix-ups are your friend. Juggle your opponent, use your smashes and your aerials to kill. Just be patient and wary of your opponents with range. He has plenty of kill options and ways to rack up damage, space out himself, and bait your opponent as well. Mix-ups are your best friend when it comes to meeting Mario. That's why I think he's still a good character just because he has all these tools. He just has a, maybe level 3 to 4 learning curve overall. He's an easy character to pick up, but if you want to use him advanced, there's a small extra curve for you to master. Yeah, because forward air was so hard to learn right there, right? I'm kidding. But let me know if you guys thought this guide was helpful. Do you think this helped you learn the Mario matchup a little more? Are you thinking of picking up Mario now in Smash Ultimate? Let me know down below. Let me know if this guide was helpful, because that's what I want this guide to be. If this helped you, then my job here was a success. And this isn't the only guide I'm going to be doing. If you've been following my channel, if you've been facing me in Smash Bros, if you've been following me with Smash in general, you can guess. You can guess what my next guide's going to be. I think we can all guess. But thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more guides for characters for Smash Ultimate. Stay tuned for Smash Ultimate gameplay, Let's Plays, montages, the like, and stay super. I said... No, I want to end this with a forward air. Stay super.